many people know their calling when they're just 8 years old? For the woman behind the most popular radio stations in the country, staying true to her passion helped her along a sometimes bumpy road. Now she's hoping her story of hard-earned success will pave the way for others.
News 92 FM 24-hour traffic.
Currently, it's 84 degrees in Pearland and 83 in Katy.
It's the first all-news format on the FM dial in Houston, and the woman who owns it is used to blazing trails.
For the weekend, though, rain chances go up to 50%.
To have one of my stations be a pioneer and an all-news market as important as Houston, Texas, and it's almost as if we had divine intervention because there was a big void in Houston. You didn't have a 24-hour all-news station, and so we raised our hand and said, we'll do it.
Kathy Hughes is the founder and chairperson of DC-based Radio 1. The company owns 54 radio stations nationwide, including Houston's urban format at 97.9 The Box and Magic 102.1, the number 1 and number 2 stations in the city. But it also owns News 92 FM.
News is general market. There is no such thing as white news or black news.
Radio is Hughes' passion.
At 8 years old, my mother brought me a transistor radio, and I fell in love with radio. And we were living in public housing, so there were seven of us in a house with one bathroom. And every morning I got up, and I went into the bathroom, I locked the door, and I did a morning show.
But before her stations touched millions of lives, Hughes was responsible for a new life at just 17. The teenage mom was persistent and raised her son Alfred at radio stations.
No surprise to anyone who watched him grow up that he ended up being the CEO of the company because he was working in the company when he was 6 years old.
She created the number 1 format ever in the history of urban radio called The Quiet Storm. But her frustration with her employer after its creation changed her path forever.
I was bound and determined that I would never allow God to bless me with another brilliant idea that I was not able to be totally in charge of. So I decided to work for myself.
Pursuing her dreams meant living them. At one point, Hughes was homeless, and she didn't even know it.
I guess when you are living in a radio station, sleeping on the floor in a sleeping bag, washing up in the public bathroom, I think that that's pretty officially homeless.
She went on to become the first African-American woman to head a publicly traded corporation. Her savvy style and grounded approach did not change.
I never will forget my very first year being a publicly held corporation. We have our annual stockholders meeting, and I do what I always do at my meetings. I open with a prayer. So here it is, front page, business section, Washington Post, first publicly held corporation, the stockholders meeting opens with a prayer. I was like, well, I'm not going to stop.
And the 66-year-old has no plans to slow down.
You really do have to have a spiritual base.
Today, Hughes is mentoring the new generation of media managers and future owners. She says her story from teen mom to groundbreaking businesswoman can be an example for all.
Particularly as a single mother wanting to go into business, childbirth is the greatest miracle that any woman will ever experience. So if you understand that you already have participated in a miracle, and miracles occur every day. Empowerment occurs every day when you embrace that reality that you are, in fact, a creation of God, empowered to create miracles along with God. There's nothing you can't accomplish.
The Radio 1 empire also includes the very popular TV One. Hughes is on the board and even has her own TV show, and her son Alfred Liggins is the CEO.